So basically, like you're saying, yeah, it's just basically your immune system is actually really important in fighting cancer, because the immune system mops up little cancers. And if I look back to what I was doing 5 years ago, high stress job, like not sleeping, shift work, shit food, like that's why I've probably got a cancer realistically. So a lot of people who talk about holistic health, I think there's a lot in that. Stress reduction can improve
Wow.
your immune system. Stress reduction can improve your immune system function. So if you're stressed and anxious on chemo, the chances are that your immune system won't be functioning well, because your stress is cortisol. Cortisol, as everyone who's on chemo knows, any kind of steroid suppresses your immune system, suppresses your capacity to fight inflammation and deal with things. And so what happens is you end up having these little micro cancers that can grow and spread that your immune system would have mopped up when they were tiny. And so being really relaxed when you're in chemotherapy is really important, and working on the head game and making sure that you're focused is really important. Because it actually helps your immune system fight. So cetuximab, one of the drugs I'm on, is an immune modulator. The idea is that your body learns to kill cancer through your immune system. So
You said
yeah, that's
something that
really important.
really stood out. And you were saying that the stress from your job could have possibly, and I've never heard of this, but I could probably relate, could have possibly attributed to the cause of your cancer.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. So basically, because I was working, lots of ED shifts and lots of, just a stressful, busy job and lots of shift work. So you're constantly changing your circadian rhythm. We know that throws out your cortisol balances and all that other stuff. And so that lowers your immune system. So if you're working 80-hour weeks with, a high stress job, don't have to be a doctor, it could be anything. If you're doing that sort of you could be working 3 jobs, and hustling, to make do for your family. But that stress is going to lead to a lowered immunity. That's why a lot of people say, hey, I never get sick until I go on holiday. And then when I go on holiday, I always catch a flu. It's because they're actually relaxing for the first time and their body's like, okay, let's deal with this and fight these things off.
So I worked in a pretty high stress environment because I was a mechanical engineer for Honda. And so I was working in design and pretty much implementing, new designs into the plant. And so I would work sometimes 18 hours a day, constantly rotating. I might have to work a night shift or a day shift, whenever those new model builds would go on. And so I would take a nap in the car and get right back up because I have to be right back in the morning. I mean, it was really, really stressful. It wasn't all the time, but it would be for periods of times. Like our new model cycle may last like a year, and you do it for a year, and then you probably be off like a year or two. And so, just going back and looking at that was really stressful. That was high stress. And that could have possibly, because I look at how the cancer cells, and maybe I'm wrong, but what I've researched, how it starts. So that first cancer cell that you get is pretty much just a mismatch that your body didn't do one of two things. Either it didn't repair it or it didn't destroy it. And if my body's concerned with other stuff and it's, stressed to the max, I think that's one of those things that it lets fall by the wayside. And so it doesn't go back and say, hey, let me fix this cell.
Exactly right. And that's proven in science. That's how it works. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's why we really push people to try and take time for yourself, balance your work-life balance. Those things are essential for quality of life, but also for maintaining your physical health. I mean, don't get me wrong, just because you're like a Zen Buddhist doesn't mean you can't get cancer. Like those people still get cancer. I know one personally.
But that's one of those contributing factors.
Literally a Zen priest. Yeah, absolutely. He's a Zen priest. He's like the most chilled out dude you'll ever meet. But he got bowel cancer. So it's not 100%, but it's a contributor. Yeah.